Bismillah wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. So yesterday we spoke about props, right? So let me just go through that once, give a summary of what we discussed yesterday. So yesterday we spoke about props, and props are a way using which you can share data from your parent to your child component. Okay. So here we have parent component called app, and there's a child component called greetings. Okay. So what I'm doing is I'm passing some data. Okay. I'm sharing some data with my child through the prop. Okay. So that's a data called name. I'm sharing that with my child component through this prop called ism. Okay. So what I can do now is I can access this data from my child component. Okay. So whatever is the name of that prop dot ism. Okay. Because the first argument that the component will get is the props object. So that will have the list of all props. Okay. So if you want to access the particular prop, you just say dot the name of the prop. Okay. So that's the first thing. The second thing about prop is that the component will re-render whenever the prop changes. Okay. And we demonstrated that by way of this alert statement. Okay. Right. So shall we continue now? So here regarding the props, right, there's one more point, which is we should never mutate props. Okay. What is the meaning of mutate? Mutate means just to change. Okay. Not copying, it's changing. Mutate means. Okay. Let's look at the meaning of the word mutate. Mutate meaning change in form or nature. Okay. Changing something. Okay. That is called as mutation. That's a linguistic meaning. But in the context of programming, right, if there's a piece of data and you say you are mutating the data, that means that you are modifying that. Okay. So for example, we have this data, right. So this is a prop object, right. So we know that there is a property called ism inside, right. So I can't mutate it in the sense that I can't say data dot ism is equal to okay. I can't do like this. This may run, but this is not correct in the sense that it will cause problems. Okay. Here I am mutating this. Okay. I am directly changing the prop by myself. Okay. You should not do it. Okay. And the reason is because it won't re-render actually. If you try to mutate the prop, right, it won't re-render. Can we try that? Okay, we'll do one thing here. Here what we did was breakpoints. I think we can understand even without, because I think that's too much of a overkill to use a debugger for this. And the reason is because if you use debugger, right, it will it won't be nice, because it will go into definition for this use effect, because see, when you say useState, right, that itself is some inbuilt function, right, you are using from React, right. So the code will go into that source file as well. Okay. So we should not use it unnecessarily, because it will take a lot of time. Okay. So let me try to explain as clear as possible. If you have doubt, you can ask. Okay, inshallah. Yeah, so what we did here was, after 2 seconds, we are changing the name, right? I'm using the set name function to change it, right? So what I'll do is, let me just copy this code here, and I will try to change that from within the child itself. Okay, so here we won't change. Okay, so I'm saving this. So here, if you see, there's no code that will change the value of name. Okay, but here, right, inside the greetings component, what I will do is, I will do it here. Okay, and set timeout. Here there's no function called set name. Okay, I won't do that. Rather, what I will do is, I would say data dot ism is equal to what is here. So this is mutation, right? Now No, this can only be used within React components. Yeah, useState can be used here as well. Yeah, it can be. It is possible if you pass that as a prop actually. If you, this is a function, right? You have to pass this function as a prop to this greetings, okay? And from here I can access. Yeah, that is possible. Yeah. If you pass as a prop, okay. Yeah, we'll try to do it. Yeah, like we'll come across that scenario as well, like how to change the data that is on the parent. Right now, if you see, right, this name, right, this is residing on the parent, right. What if I want to change the name from within the child? Let's say, for example, there's a button here, okay, and if I click on that button, I want to change that name, okay. So that button is living inside the child component, but that piece of data is in the parent, right? So this kind of scenario we'll speak about it, okay, inshallah. So here what I'm saying is we have a hook, okay. This is this code. What we did was after 2 seconds it will run some code, right? So what we are doing here is we are mutating that, okay. I am changing that thing, that ism property, to a different name, okay. After 2 seconds, okay. The value of, okay, the value, I can say the value will be mutated after 2 seconds, okay. I'm directly changing the ism value to Abu Ziyada after 2 seconds, okay. Now let's see what happens. I think it's showing the error here. Use effect is not defined, okay. So use effect is not defined, so I have to import that. Sorry. Okay. So now let me come here. Okay. See here. After 2 seconds, it's showing error for you. Okay. See, if I reload, right, after 2 seconds, it showed error for you. And what does it show you? Cannot assign to read-only property ism of object. Okay. So it says that this property, right, this is only read-only. What is the meaning of read-only? Read-only means you can use that, you can read that, but you can't write it, you can't change it. Okay. That's what it means actually. Like if you want to change it, you want to do some special things actually. Okay. You can't like for example here, right, we are using a special function, right, called setName. So you have to use this, even like here this name, right, I can't change here itself actually. We'll come back to it, okay. So thing is, akhi, if you try to do that, you'll get error, and even if you don't get error, right, the program won't function the way that we expect. Okay. So this is not permittable, okay. If it is a prop, right, you can't directly mutate the prop. Okay. That's the point here, okay. And but what you can do is you can make a copy and you can work on that, okay. For example, what I can do is I can say, okay, copied props. I can use a spread operator, right? This is permissible. Why? Because I have made a copy, right? So I'm working on a completely different thing actually. I'm not working on this prop anymore. Rather, I am working on an object that is a copy of that prop, okay? So this is a normal JavaScript object, okay? So this won't throw error for you. Okay? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like in the sense that if you want to change it slightly, right, then you can only do it after mutating. Yeah, sorry, after copying actually. You can't directly do it. That's the point here, okay? Otherwise you'll get error. And even if you don't get error, right, the program will not function as expected, okay? Because a basic thing is, whenever the prop change, right, you want that to re-render, right, you want that to reflect on the screen, right, but when you mutate the prop, right, that may not occur actually. That's why they say you should not mutate it, okay? Okay, I can tell you won't get any error here actually. So if I reload, right, you see there's no error actually. Okay, because we are not. Namahi. Namahi, that is in a different object. Akhi. Here, if you see, I'm still using the data only, right? Okay. So just keep that in mind. Okay, you can't just remember this line, huh? Yeah, let me come to it. Yeah, I will speak about useState, and then you'll understand it fully. Okay. So for the time being, just remember that you should not mutate props. That's the only thing. Okay. Just keep that in mind. Otherwise, you'll get error, or the program may not function in the way that you expect. Okay. So that's one thing. Okay. And what is mutating? Mutating is directly changing the value. Okay. But if you make a copy and then work on that copy, that is not mutating. Okay. Tayyib. So that's the last point that you should note about props. Okay. Now let us speak about useState. Here we have useState, right? This one. So there's another thing called state, which is very similar to props actually. Okay. State is very similar to props in the sense that whenever the state changes, the component will re-render. Okay, just like whenever the prop, right, if there's a component, it has some props. If the props change, the component re-renders, right? Likewise, if the state changes as well, it will re-render. Okay, everything else is the same actually, and the same rule apply for this as well. You should not mutate states directly. Okay, for example, what we did was, previously we had this code, right? After 2 seconds, this will change the name, right? We are using the set name function here, but can I mutate it like can I change the name directly? Yeah, what I'm saying is just try. I mean, like let name is equal to Abu Ziyada. This will throw error for you. Here it say assignment to constant variable. Since I used const here, const means I can't change, right? I can't reassign, right? Yeah, that's why. Even if I use let, right, let's see what happens. Nothing happened, no error happened. But you see here, it still says Waji, right? But it should have been Abu Ziyada, right? Because I changed the name here. So my child component should have re-rendered, right? Since it did not re-render, the name didn't change here. So what that means is that, like I told you before, if you mutate it like that, right, it won't cause re-renders. Oh. No, it's not about whether you use where or here. What I'm saying is here, this variable, right, this is a state variable, this is a special variable. You can't mutate it like that. And even if you mutate, right, you won't detect the change here. See, the change didn't happen, right? That's why it is still here actually. The child component, right, didn't re-render because you mutated the prop. You mutated the state variable. Okay. And this so this state, right, this is like the memory of the component. Okay. For example, if you want to have some data, right, you can store it in the component itself. Okay. So in this case, right, what we did was we are getting this ism from the parent, right? So instead of getting it from the parent, I can store this data in the child itself actually. So it can have its own data. Okay. That is state. So what I can do is I can copy the entire thing. Okay, let me copy the entire thing. So we're not passing the prop anymore. Okay. Rather, what we do is we are doing it in the child itself. So if you see here now, this should be name, right? Okay, so let me just comment this for the time being. The child itself has some sort of memory or some sort of data associated with that, okay, which is name, and the initial value of that is vg. Okay, so you see it here, and the same thing happens like in props. If the value changes, the entire thing will re-render. Okay, so let's try that here. And to change the value, right, we should not do it directly. Okay, you should use that special function. Okay, that is the second thing that it gives you. By the way, do you remember the syntax here? What is that? No, I'm asking what is this? What is the syntax here? What is the pattern here? Array? So, yes, array destructuring, okay. Okay. Abdullah, do you remember what is this? Yeah, this is array destructuring actually. See, when you call this function ready, useState, right, it will give you an array, okay. The return value of this will be an array. That array has two elements. The first element is the value, and the second element is the function to update that value, okay. And we are destructuring it here. This is how you should do the destructuring, right? Array destructuring. Okay. So I can even, like, instead of doing this destructuring, right, I can do it like this actually, okay. My name state, I can say something like, okay, name state, okay. So what I can do is, I would say here what? Name state of 0, because the element that is in the first position will be the value, right? So I am saying like this, okay. And to update it, right, what I should do here? I should say name state of 1, because in the first position there is a function to update that thing, right? So name state of 1 of calling the function, okay. This is also perfectly fine. Yeah, let's come to that actually. But do you understand this here? Why we are using 0 here, 1 here? Abdullah, do you get the point? Yes, because this useState, right, this will give you the return value. That return value is an array, okay, which has two elements. The first element is the state value actually. Whatever is the value of that state, that is the first element. The second element is the function using which you can update that value, okay. So that is why what I am saying here is name state of 0, because I want to display the value, right? So I am saying name state of 0, and here I am trying to update that value, so I am saying name state of 1, okay. And generally what we do is, whenever we use useState, we destructure here, because that gives us a convenience, right? That's more readable, right? Name and set name. So I destructure that, and I give these things separate labels like this, so that I can conveniently use them, okay, like this, okay. Sorry, get the point? So we'll finish now, inshallah. So the point is, state is very similar to props, okay, except that it is something that is for the component itself, okay. Like the component can store its own data, okay. Instead of getting something from the parent, right, it can store its own data, and whenever that data changes, the entire component will re-render, okay. So what we have done here is, we have some setup, right, which will update the value to Abu Ziyada after 2 seconds, okay. So what you will see is this value will change actually. See, initially it's Waji, after 2 seconds it changed, okay. And the reason is because we have set time out here which will update the value of this after 2 seconds. So once the value updated, the entire component will re-render, and that is why here we saw Assalamu alaikum Abu Ziyada. And the rules apply here as well. Just like we can't mutate the props directly, you can't mutate the state directly as well, okay. if you do it, the program will not function in the normal way. Okay. And here you can give any value actually. It's not a string actually. You can even put an object there. Okay, whatever you want. Okay. Everything else is normal. Okay. So inshallah we'll stop here, and tomorrow shall we keep class or not? By the way, tomorrow if there's no fasting tomorrow, we'll keep the class. Okay. But if fasting is there, then tomorrow we won't keep. Okay, because tomorrow is Thursday. Okay, and day after tomorrow will be Friday, so we can't keep. Then we'll meet on Saturday. Okay, so what we'll do is inshallah for Ramadan, we will we will have class on alternate days. Okay, for 30 minutes. Is that okay? Because I think if we leave completely right, then we may lag behind a lot actually. Huh? Yeah. So we'll keep on alternate days. Okay, inshallah. So inshallah, so we will see inshallah if tomorrow is not fasting, we'll meet tomorrow inshallah. Okay, but you can go through the docs. Okay, I think it's also very easy to understand, so you can go through that as well. Okay, and read as much as you can before the next class inshallah. Okay, and if you have any doubts as well, just note it and we will discuss inshallah. طيب inshallah, so we'll see. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.